and he almost didn't do it. He sort of felt that sort of tension at the very top of the run. And he was really afraid. And then he was like, wait a minute, love this sport so much. I'm out in the mountains and with my friends. It's a beautiful day. He just sort of like soaked up that love and then went. And I used both of the advice, but I really felt like it might've been the love that really got the ticket. I did end up getting the big grant, but I just sort of went up there and I embraced the love of the work that we were doing in the community and the love of the people in the room and what they were doing to support the community. And it all worked out. So
our kids are often so brilliant. I get so much advice from mine too. It's so true because you do want to be buttoned down. Like you do want to be prepared. You do want to know what you're talking about. But the minute you're in your head worrying about how you're coming across, the minute you're worrying about how it's landing, the minute you're worrying about anything, is my necklace straight? Oh, do I have bad breath? Oh, I should have worn contacts instead of glasses. Like as soon as any of that inner dialogue is going on, your attention's in here. It's not out there. And then there's an authenticity gap and you're going to have trouble transforming lives. You know, one of the things we talk about in the EBC a lot is, are you doing more than just giving people insight? Because, you know, if insight were all it took to change lives, then there'd be no obesity on this planet, right? We all know what it takes to combat obesity. You eat less and you move more, right? I mean, sometimes there's medical conditions and I don't mean to diminish that. But in general, we know the principles it takes to lose weight. And yet there are still people that don't do it. They spend too much time in front of the TV eating Cheetos, right? Insight alone will not get you there. You need action and you need commitment to action, right? So we often talk about this in the Evolutionary Business Council. Are you succeeding in mobilizing people around your cause? And for that, your attention has to be out there on them. You've got to get over in their world. Worrying about how you're coming across, all that inner dialogue is irrelevant to whether or not you're over there in their world.
And I love that, Teresa, because what we did is this is going to be sort of a teaser or a taster for our audience. I'm going to skip all the way to habit number 10, because that's all about taking action. So folks listening, you're just going to have to get the book and read it because it's totally worth it. It's amazing. And not only do you get the book, but you get this 30-day course and there's all this great stuff in the book. Let's hone in on that number 10, that taking action, because you're so right. We can go to the class. We can read the book. We can know something in its principle, but then we don't take action. So how do we develop that very important habit of taking action?
Yeah. It's a muscle that we've got to build, right? And not only that, not only do we need to take action ourselves, but we need to request action of others. That's a habit that you have to get into, right? So to be influential, you know, one of the things we talk about in our master trainer program we do in the Evolutionary Business Council is anytime you want to be influential and move people to action, whatever content you're delivering has to do three things. And it has to give them a vision of where they can get to. You got to remove whatever barriers they might have for success. I like to call that the out with the old and in with the new stage, right? So you remove anything that's in their way and you teach them a new skill set so they can get there quickly, right? And there's a lot of trainers out there that are exquisite at doing those two things. There's a lot of people in the whole empowerment and transformational industry as a whole that are really good at steps 1 and steps 2. But step 3 is, and we talk about this in the EBC as mobilization, right? Is you got to get them to take action. You got to get them to take action in their lives, in their businesses, with their families, their communities. And if they do, it's very likely they'll keep moving with you as well, right? If you succeed in getting them to take action, they'll want more learning and training from you, you know, as an influencer, right? But it's really important to think about that action step. Like, who are we being when we request people to take action? It might be as simple as, you know, let me give your listeners a quick takeaway. Can I give your listeners a quick takeaway? Is that okay, Dr. K?
Of course.
So it might look like this. You want to practice these skills of becoming highly influential. I've got a 30-day influence challenge for you. It's absolutely complimentary. Okay. And when you sign up for the 30-day influence challenge, I'm actually going to give you a digital copy of my book for free. Okay. So you can read Mass Influence for free right now because of its anniversary. It's now been on the bestseller list for 7 years. Yay. So we're giving the digital versions away for free. So if you go to massinfluencethebook.com, there's 30 days of very quick exercises you can do that'll just shift your paradigm and get you in the habit of behaving like the highly influential behave so that you can start to understand how these influence principles work. So we take the 10 habits we talk about the book and we boil them down into quick little 2-3 minute exercises you do every day, where you just focus on that one thing for that day. And I promise you, at the end of 30 days, you'll have a completely different relationship with how influence works at the end of that time. Now, I just made that as an invitation, but I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts a bunch of you are going to massinfluencethebook.com right now and signing up, because I just invited you to go take some action in your life. So that action is now going to actually cause the actual transformation that you might otherwise just be learning as a theory on this call. As much insight as I can give you, your life won't change until you actually start practicing what we're talking about.
And science says that habits do take between 21 days and several months to change. So that was so generous of you, Teresa. I'm obviously read the book, but I've also done the 30-day challenge. It's so much fun. And, we were just, I was just clapping, and I wanted to highlight something that we do within the EBC that I think is so important and somewhat different. However, it's very basic, and that is to celebrate. Like, aren't we so good at celebrating our success? And this kind of gets into the neuroscience. When we get that dopamine hit, when we feel good about the things that we've done, we get that dopamine hit and we keep going. It's like the snowball effect, right? The momentum begets momentum.